Hi everyone, this is Integration Talks, the only podcast dedicated to software integration and integration experts. It is hosted by Martens from Exalate, the most powerful integration app. Let's get started.
Good day, everyone. Good day wherever you are. Welcome to this podcast. We're back for the next Integration Talks live episode. So indeed, I'm Francis from Exalate, and today we're here with Daniel Mix from Eficode, and we will be talking about some specific integration and about the benefits and challenges that we encountered during that integration itself. Welcome to the show, Daniel. So, can you tell a bit about yourself and about Eficode?
Yeah, my name is Daniel Mix. I'm from Sweden, Gothenburg, working currently for Eficode, a Finnish company. Now in a lot of other countries too. I worked for 5 years now as a consultant as an Atlassian Consultant, working with Jira, Confluence, and the add-ons used in the Atlassian suite.
Okay.
Done a lot of integrations for our customers. My interest is working with the integration stuff like your application, Exalate. So
So integrations is indeed something that you have to do as a consultant quite a bit, because that's why companies are reaching out to technical consultancy, right? So and like a couple of years ago, we worked together on an integration between wireless car and Volvo. And could you tell a bit about the context of that integration project? Well, what were the aims? Why were they looking for doing an integration?
Yeah, it was quite an interesting project, actually. I mean, the main goals on that project was to integrate wireless car and Volvo. Wireless car, working with the Volvo on call stuff, that with the to be able to connect your phone to the car and I mean, do the setup for the internal heating. You can preheat your car before you go to work, and you can do a lot of stuff. And wireless car and Volvo had an issue with for their service desk between. I mean, when they're on bugs, they had some support issues. They sent email to each other. I mean, quite like a dinosaur way to handle the support. So they looked for a solution, actually, to be able to streamline and to be able to have a better way to support each other. So that was the main goal, and we had a lot of challenges, everything from security, access, and the main part was that wireless car were using Jira and the service desk, and Volvo was using ServiceNow. So not the easy way to connect normally. So the main goal was to connect them in some way, and we quite early in the project I pitched the idea of using Exalate because I've used it before, and you had the connector for ServiceNow and Jira. So we started to pitch, and wireless car were they said, "Go for it. Of course, this sounds good." And Volvo was a little more They hesitated more because there were another application we had to introduce, and they already had their integration engines in some way. So can't we use that? But they had early projects already in place connecting other vendors.
Daniel, before we move on, I have been a total dork, not introducing George. George, welcome also to the show.
Thanks.
Maybe you can also introduce yourself for a moment.
Yeah. Thanks, Francis. No worries. I'm here. Daniel, good to see you again. I'm George. I'm originally from England, from London. I'm calling from Belgium, where the office is located in Antwerp. I'm an account executive with Exalate. So I've been working here for about 15 months, I think now. I like traveling and trying new things. I was actually at CrossFit last night with one of our engineers, so I'm pleased I'm not standing up for this podcast. I'm sitting down. Really excited to carry on investigating this, keep on talking about this integration for sure.
Yeah. So thank you, George. So Daniel, you said, well, there were a bit of challenges to introduce the integration with Volvo because they had already existing integration solutions. And was there like the decision what technology is being used while doing a cross-company integration? That's also an interesting topic to do, because you need to agree with two companies what the technology will be, right?
Yeah, of course. That was one of the issues we have one company that is more agile, more modern, more forward-looking, more go ahead, go. And we have the automotive industry is like dinosaurs in some way. They're going more for the agile work, but it's, to be honest, it takes quite a time to develop a car, and it's a large company, a lot of people, a lot of stakeholders, a lot of security, and so on. So one of the challenges in when we initiated this project was the access. Can we get access to the Volvo system? No, we couldn't. So we had to work with Volvo IT, their guys to be able to actually do some configuration and testing and so on. For wireless car side, we were already there as a partner to work with them as a consultant for other Jira projects and so on. So there were no problem for us to integrate from that side. Okay. And Jira is Jira was very familiar for us because we are Atlassian experts. So
it
was nothing new. So we have the access problem. We have the system itself, ServiceNow, which no one of us never worked with. So we had to read in on the system, try it in different demos to learn the ServiceNow actually, in order to do this integration. And we also not talking just about security and access. We're talking about the different, like you said, the different already in place integrations and also the engines. they had some form of API, thingy.
Gateway,
Yeah, before they had the firewall and then their API thingy, and then ServiceNow. So we had to not only go through a firewall, we had to in some form bend ourselves to
Yeah, I know there was so there was indeed some business requirements from that environment that you're not allowed to search for incidents. As an example. And also all the access needs to go through an API gateway, which is vetting all the content which is exchanged. There are quite a bit of additional next to the challenge of integrating with a completely new environment that as an Atlassian consultant, it's something to learn. There's also all these different technical challenges to create that connection, getting access to the environment and so on.
And that like you said, there about the security and what we could read and what we were not allowed to read. Volvo said that we only allow you to get information that we send to you. We could not, as you said, we couldn't read the tables in the database. So there was not a big challenge for me per se, but for you, your application, you had to redevelop to build a new version, especially for this integration, to handle the new technical specifications and in accordance to security and so that was of course challenging, and the whole integration was challenging because a lot of meetings, a lot of stakeholders, there was a lot of decisions when we do this, what's going on the other side, who's owning the ticket.
The whole orchestration between the two environments is something that's an interesting topic to focus on. Is how can you make that more efficient? But it's still people business, right? And people have all their own ideas on how to do such a thing.
And you have all the processes in place for the. The bigger the company, the more processes, and a lot of processes are slowing everything down. And of course, you have to have the bigger the company, you have to have a lot of processes in place to be able to handle all documentation and everything. But of course, it's not that agile in that moment. So we had let's say probably 5-6 meetings before we even got to talk about the integration. It was more or less
it took some time before we got to the same level of understanding.
Correct.
Because of course people from Volvo have their requirements, and they're not coming from, they have to comply also to the internal processes themselves. And indeed we had to adapt the product to accommodate to this specific requirements, but to the benefit of the product itself, because what has been developed for them is now also being used in other use cases. So
of course, and that was your you told me when we ran this project that we do this because we can benefit of it later on. Everyone learned from this project, I believe, from your end with the application, from my end to work with a big car company versus a smaller agile developer, and not developer per se, but the more agile, more modern, more forward.
More modern company. Also, like new technologies. So, how was this? How much of ServiceNow do you now? Could you be a ServiceNow consultant? Or so the question is more, how much do you need to know about that new environment to be able to do an integration, which was required in that project?
Interesting question, actually. Yeah. I would probably be a good ServiceNow consultant. I don't think that, but I know my way around. I can set up a new if you compare to Jira, new workflows, new screens and such. But I didn't actually needed that much of knowledge about ServiceNow, because the basics of this integration was the same. I mean, it didn't matter if it was ServiceNow, it was Jira, or it could have been Zendesk or any other tracker, because the basics is we integrate and we get a connection. As long as we have a connection, we can say this field is going to be sent over, or the data from this field is going to sent over, and when we receive it, we move this data into our field. So the field name basically is what we need. And of course, there's a lot of other technical things, how to write the code for ServiceNow and vice versa. But in the basics, I didn't need to be that of a ServiceNow consultant.
Yeah. In the end, everything is an issue, like Atlassian tends to say. So it's always an entity that you synchronize from and to. And the details of the underlying issue tracker is less of a concern. I think that indeed the way that the authentication happens between the Exalate agent and the underlying tracker is really different platform per platform. But once that you have this access to these entities or these objects, the integration itself is pretty similar on the different platforms themselves.
Yeah, and me as a Atlassian consultant, I don't need to be an expert on your Exalate application, how the application in the background need to talk with the different platforms. I mean, I can use my skill in let's say Groovy, and I can use Groovy scripts for the setup, and it's similar between the some difference, of course, but not so. I mean, it's not like night and day, because I mean it's so for that matter, I really like to use an application like that, because it doesn't matter if it's ServiceNow, Zendesk, Jira, or if it's Jira Cloud, Jira on-premise, or any other. I mean,
true. An integration platform should hide away the details of the underlying tracker as much as possible. You can't hide everything, but I don't want to focus on Exalate itself, right? Because it's an integration podcast. And now, if you look back at that project, what are best practices that you've learned in doing an integration project?
I would say to be in the beginning of a project like this. I mean, a project like this tends to be quite large and involve very many people from different. From Volvo, from Wireless Car, from their IT department, and often it's a third party vendor that is their IT vendor, and I think it's really crucial to be thorough from the beginning of the initial meetings should focus on the goal and the requirements of this integration, not the details of like what fields should be synchronized. It's more don't focus on the details from the beginning, but be thorough to rule out every challenges in accessing the environment. Like we have the API gateway. Do your homework on that one, and when you have all these pieces and the information, then you can sit down and create some form of integration schedule, when and where and how and what. So I think focus on the goal and the requirements from the beginning, and keep the details out of it, because then otherwise you can have 10-15 meetings with stakeholders, and everyone needs their thing covered, and it will quite fast grow to an enormous project, which will be probably thrown out the window in the end, because you never reach the goal. So thorough and keep it simple, and keep focus on the requirements.
So yeah, Daniel, when you've got such a big group of stakeholders as well, especially in these cross-company integrations, keeping everyone happy is obviously a very hard choice. And what I'm trying to say is, as well, with flexibility with the solution, with integration, would you say that's like a blessing or a curse? Is it good to have a lot of options and try and keep everyone happy, or how would you go about approaching having lots of requirements and a flexible solution?
I think it's a blessing from the perspective that I can, from the beginning, I know the restrictions or the what it can do and what it cannot do. So I can feel quite confident that if I go in this meeting and say, yeah, we can absolutely solve this, but we need to focus on this and this, and I'm confident that the application or nevertheless which application I use, if I know the application, then the flexibility of the application, then I can go in with a good confidence and say that we will solve this, but we need to focus on this and this. So that's a blessing, I think. Of course, it could also be a curse in some way. I mean, too flexible often some people come up with great solutions to a problem that is not a problem. So if it's too flexible, you can it tends to be more complicated than it has to be, because you can. If you can, then it will be done.
In many cases, you also create a maintenance problem.
So, an administrative nightmare.
So you have to keeping it simple is a really good how do you say way of starting with an integration, and then having a flexible platform allowing you to grow the integration to what is required for the customers or for the case is also important. Knowing that you're not limited by the platform going forward is an important feature also.
That's for me as a consultant, my confidence is important to do. It's important to enter the meeting with the confidence, because so with that flexibility it helps, and it's quite fun actually to have that flexibility. I mean, to be able to, when they are throwing questions or throwing things at tasks, and I can say, yeah, sure, I can do that, and they, whoa, really? Yeah, great. And then I look good in
okay.
meeting. Not look good, but
yeah, your solution looks good.
yeah.
You spoke about that dynamic of coming in with confidence, and I guess, when we're dealing with like two companies with almost like the person in the middle and organizing things, how do you think, especially in the evaluation process when you're evaluating an integration solution, how do you think it kind of affects like team morale and the dynamics and behaviors in the teams and the businesses, also trying to keep focused on the end goal as well, from that beginning process of evaluation all the way to the end user? Do you have any experience of that as well?
Yeah, I have. I think it could be. I think it could actually boost the morale in a company when going from, in this case, sending emails with that challenges that it's for sending email. I mean, have the cross-company collaboration set up with an email solution is not a very good solution, I think. So when we introduce a new way of working, that they can keep working in their system, and the other part can work in their system, and we instead of sending emails, we can integrate them. Then you have to focus only on your own system, one system. I mean, often when you try to collaborate, you introduce perhaps a third system that everyone needs to work in that customer case. And if you have a like wireless car that has other customers, if they should introduce a new system for every new customer, their service desk would probably work with 5 or 10 different systems, and that is not good for morale, and that is not good for the people working.
No, also not for efficiency. Yeah?
No,
if you have to access 5 systems to do your job.
No, yeah. and you perhaps don't even know which system to access. If you get you get a ticket in your system saying that, okay, this car isn't working in some way. Okay, which system do I have to address this problem? So you put all the challenges and problems to that single user that will receive the ticket. So integration, a good integration, will boost efficiency, of course, and also make probably the workload for the service desk people to be lower. So I think often people are very eager to get this system running and the integration running, but one of the negative thing about it is if you don't, I mean, it often takes more time than it's from the beginning planned to do. So the challenge for the whole project is to keep up they have high expectations, and they are eager to work, but when the more time it takes, it lowers their
expectations, or
and I mean, if it takes too long, in the end it will be, we're never going to get this.
True.
So And when it's
So what's an acceptable time frame, do you think, for such a project?
I would say it's depending on the company itself. I mean, like Volvo, perhaps 4 months is acceptable, or perhaps even fast. But for a smaller developer company, 1 week is like ages. So I come from. It's quite funny, but I come from in the early days when I worked. I come from transportation and courier services, with a lot of small local businesses acquired by a larger company, and I started out as a bike messenger one time, and they called us to say some customers called us to say, "Oh, this is really I really need this in a hurry." So I mean, when you need it, next week, okay. And some people call, "Oh no, it's not. No hurry, but can you have it in 15 minutes?" So
So everything is relative to the
bigger the company, I think the longer we have actually to integrate. But of course, in some way, if we talk applications, I mean, an easy application that is allow us to do a quick setup and quick connection, quick first integration. That is awesome. I mean, for both companies, I would say we have it up and running. 5 minutes. Yeah, it runs. It's not done. It's not that comprehensive, but we have a first.
It's a good stepping stone indeed for your integration, so people already can benefit from. It's the 80-20 type of rule, right? With 20% of the effort, you deliver 80% of the functionality.
Exactly, and I find that really, really, really good. And I mean, when I introduce it to customers, they are impressed. I mean, when you talk of integration, many people, integration. These large projects that will never end, and endless meetings and such, and code and blah integrations. That's not so sexy in the way. But can you introduce a quick application that we are up and running? Now let's focus on when and where and how and what.
And evolve the integration towards, and that's really an agile way of developing such an integration itself.
And I think we not just integration, but we are focusing. I mean, developing new things, and I mean, most things in IT, it tends to be. We try to find every angle to be covered before we do anything. Then it often becomes so large and big of a scope that it will not be implemented at all. So can we implement some quick and dirty version, not quick and dirty, but some quick things that makes us up and running and trying, then we can probably find a better solution. I usually say to my customers, when we are creating things in Jira and they need a screen with different fields, I say keep it on purpose. Keep some information out of the screen and let the users demand. We need this also. Okay, then add it. Because if we start with a product to create a screen with all information we need when let's say a service desk ticket, and we let to have meetings to decide which fields we will never
use.
No, so I think start really easy, grow into it, and let the users and the the situation demand what we need. And I think that's the best practice, so to speak, with integrations. Do a quick integration with really minimum amount of data sent, and then let everyone demand more.
So really an iterative approach in evolving the integration up to the moment that it brings the value that people are expecting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the key for a successful integration. At least in our environment, we talk Jira, ServiceNow, Zendesk, or any other issue tracker. I mean, integrate perhaps some banking systems would be a lot more.
So like you're speaking about like transactional data, like payment data and so on, that requires a different type of approach. Yeah.
I guess that's more towards like the deep ticket integration approach rather than kind of starting basic, isn't it? Yeah. We definitely see. I guess it's a bit of a buzzword. Maybe Francis, you could explain a bit to our listeners that don't know exactly what deep ticket integration is, but I think that's really good advice, Daniel, like giving the users the minimal amount of information and then them demanding more. I think that's really powerful advice. But yeah, and then you've got these stakeholders that want everything as well. So yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah. All right. About deep ticket integration, that's a term that we encounter quite a bit in the MSP market, the managed service providers, that are really dependent on a proper information exchange between their customers and their internal operations. And deep ticket integration allows you to have a properly set up workflow orchestration where the handoff points between when the customer needs to do something and when the MSP needs to do something is clearly defined. And you might think it's simple, right? I have a problem, I give it to the MSP, and then the MSP solves it and gives it back. But reality is that this type of orchestrations tend to become more complex if you take into account all the different paths that a common ticket need to go through. And it can start with a really simple handoff, meaning that I create a ticket, I escalate it to the MSP, and MSP solves it. And then indeed, like Daniel, as you're saying, by doing a couple of iterations, that more advanced workflow orchestration can be introduced. So I think I've to watch the time. So George, maybe some additional question that you might have?
No, yeah, definitely. Daniel, I'd be interested to know, maybe for the integration users and audience that we're speaking to now as well, and perhaps our next guest, what would be your like key piece of information or your key advice or even a question to the audience or to our next guest as we finish up?
I would say that we actually talked about it now in a bit, but I would say keep it simple. That's the main advice I will have to give all the audience listening in accordance in regards of integrate cross-company, doing cross-company integrations. Keep it simple, because when you start doing it, it could very fast be too big of a challenge. So keep it simple, start slow, start easy, and grow into the integration. Don't try to to get all angles covered in the integration from the start, because you will not reach the goal, and you will not find any all angles in that case. You have to find it on the way. So
Yeah,
Keep
very
it
well. Yeah, nice.
All right, Daniel. Thank you very much for your viewpoints there and your exchange of the experience. I will have to wrap it up now.
Yeah.
So hopefully the audience you had some benefit from this presentation. If you have any questions, any ideas on integration itself, just let us know in a comment below. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into Exalate's podcast, Integration Talks, a podcast that covers all things integration. For more information, check out our resources on exalate.com and stay tuned for our upcoming episodes. Until next time.